So section 5.4 should be mostly a review on adding and subtracting polynomials. We're going to get a little deeper into some terminology on it, but here's the main idea. I can add 3x plus 2x. Those are like terms. The 3 and the 2 combine to give us 5x. I cannot add 3x plus 2x squared. The issue here is that this 3x is just a 3 and an x, and the 2x squared is a 2 and 2x's. So they're not really the same because they don't have the same exponent. Technically, they do have the same variable, which is important, but they also need to have the same exponent. So 3x plus 2x squared, we would say, is already simplified. Okay, so let's go through a couple examples here. Here I have 9x to the 6th minus 14x to the 6th plus x to the 6th. They are all the same variable, they're all x's, and they have the same exponent, they have the same amount of x's. So we can combine the coefficients. I can combine 9 minus 14 plus, what's the coefficient here, right? If there is no number, that is like a 1, x to the 6th. So I really have 9 minus 14 plus 1, that's negative 5 plus 1, negative 4. We combine the coefficients, and the exponent, x to the 6th, stays the same. We're not multiplying, so we're not multiplying the x's together. We are just combining x to the 6ths. X to the 6th plus x to the 6th give us more x to the 6ths. Okay. R squared plus 3r plus 5r squared. What are my like terms here? Well, same exponent, same power. This one has the exponent, but not the power. So it is not a like term. The r squared and 5r squared would combine to give us 6r squared. Remember, if there's no number, it's a 1 here. Plus 3r, and that would be completely simplified. 8t plus 6w. We're looking at this and wanting to combine them. Please do not make this 14 of anything. Why not? This has a t, this has a w. They have the same exponent, but they are not the same variable. So this would be already simplified. We can add x's to x's, apples to apples, but not t's to w's. They need to be the same variable for us to combine them. Kicking it up a notch. 9pq plus 3pq minus 2pq squared. Well, these all have pq's, but for them to be like terms, they have to have the same and the same exponent. This squared makes this one not like the other ones. So when I go to combine this 9 and 3 gives us 12pq minus 2pq squared. Remember, the issue is that the 12 is 12, a p and a q, and this is 2pqq, not like terms, so don't combine those. And then we have x plus 1/2 of x. People are like, oh no, we can't do this. Yes, we can. They are both x's, they're both like terms. We can do 1 plus 1/2. So what is 1 plus 1/2? Well, make 1 and 2 a fraction. 1 over 1, give them a common denominator. 2 over 2 plus 1 over 2 is 3 over 2. So I would accept 3 over 2x, or if you divide the 2 in there, you could get 1 and 1/2 x. By the way, that should make sense, that 1x plus half an x gives us 1.5 x. Do not change the exponent, just combine the coefficients. What is a coefficient? I'm using this term. This is something you need to know, and the homework's going to have you just check this. The coefficient is the number at the beginning of some variable. Remember, if there is no number there, there's an implied 1. So if it's just an x, it's a 1x. The degree of a function is the highest power. Okay, so the highest power or exponent. So when I look at this, okay, so this gets a little weird, but I just want to make sure for degree, highest power or exponent, or if it's a group, then we add the exponents. That second part, it's technically something we will have, but it's not as a basket of an issue, okay? So let's start with the and also the type. We have a few types that we need to be familiar with. A monomial. Mono means one, hence like monogamy, you marry one person. Or a monocle is somebody that wears the Monopoly guy. He has that little one glass eye, right? So mono means one. Bi means two, so we can have binomials, two terms. Tri means three. We could have more, but that's kind of the ones we're going to focus mostly on. All of these go under the term polynomial. Poly meaning many. So when we have many terms, we call it a polynomial. Okay? So 3x to the fourth, right? We've seen coefficient. The coefficient's that 3. But what's the degree? What's the highest power, right? Well, what's the exponent? 4. What type of term is it? Well, does it have one term, two, or three? If it has one, then it is a monomial. And this is in your homework. If I have 5x plus 7, what is the degree? What's the highest exponent? Well, 5x is x to the first. So the degree is going to be to the first. You're like, well, what about the 7? Well, that 7 doesn't have a power or exponent with a variable. So that one is not, that's a constant. That actually has a degree of 0. It has like x to the 0. There are no x's there, okay? We'll get to that. What type is it? Well, I see two terms, 5x plus 7. 2 makes it a binomial. X squared y plus xy. Okay, what's the highest power or exponent? Well, the x squared has the highest, but the degree is not 2 because there's multiple variables. We combine the exponents. So this is a 2, this one has a 1. So the overall degree on this would be a third degree. Not an A basket issue, just going to pop up in the homework. You should be able to do these ones. Like I said, not an A basket issue. The other ones are. Okay. How many terms? Well, it still has one group plus one group, so 2 terms makes it binomial. Next one is x to the 5th plus 3x to the 6th plus 4. What is the highest degree in there? The highest power is x to the 6th. So the degree of this function would be a 6th degree function with 3 terms, or a trinomial. This one we kind of alluded to, -3. What is the highest power? Not of the number, right? That's our coefficient. The coefficient's -3. That's the coefficient, okay? What's the degree? What's the power of x? What's the power of the variable? Well, there is none. So this would be a degree of 0. Whenever I have a constant number, it will have a degree of 0. Technically, this is the same thing as -3 x to the 0. Okay? Once again, how many types or how many terms? One term makes it a monomial. All right. Evaluate these when x equals 2. I would encourage you, this should be reviewed, but they're going to have you kind of review this skill. Feel free to pause this, go through it, fast forward. If you got the right answers, you're good, keep going. But this is not one that you should need me to walk you through each step. Try it and see if you make a mistake, and if you do, fix it, but you should be able to do these. So 3 times x squared, if x is 2, plus 2 times x minus 4. 3 times 4 plus 4 minus 4. 12 plus 4 minus 4. This first one should equal 12. What about when x is -2? Well, 3 times -2 squared plus 2 times -2 minus 4. 3 times -2 squared would be positive 4. 2 times -2 would be minus 4 minus 4. So we have 12 minus 4 minus 4. 8 minus 4 would be 4. double check these, please. Let's do the same thing here. When x is 2, 3 times 2 to the 4th, 5 times 2 to the 3rd, minus 4 times 2 minus 4, 3 times 2 to the 4th. Should not shut you down here. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2, 16. 5 times 2 to the 3rd is 8, minus 8 minus 4. Keep going. 3 times 16 would be 30 plus 18, so how about 48? Plus 40 minus 8 minus 4. Adding from left to right, I have 88, 80, 76. 3 times, if it's negative 2 to the 4th, 5 times negative 2 to the 3rd, minus 4 times negative 2 minus 4. 3 times. If I have 4 negative 2's, if they were all negative, the 4 negatives would still make that a positive 16. Plus 5 times. If I have 3 negative 2's, the 3 negatives would make that into a negative 8. A negative times a negative here makes that a positive 8. 3 times 16 is still 48. Minus 40 plus 8 minus 4. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 minus 4, I got 12. Like I said, double check your work on these. This should be pretty much review at this point. Just kind of a skill building thing that you need to have. And last but not least, just to see how you are in combining your like terms. I think this is really the scariest thing in this section, and is really not that bad. But 6p to the 4th minus 8p cubed plus 2p minus 1. Okay, minusing a group, what that negative does is it distributes across every term inside the group. So that becomes a plus 7p to the 4th, a minus 6p squared, and a plus 12. This one, since it's adding, doesn't really change much. Alright, so let's start with our highest degree. The highest degree I see is p to the 4th. So we're going to combine all the p to the 4ths. What do we get here? 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 plus 1, 14, p to the 4th. The next highest degree we see is p to the 3rd. There's only one of those, so it will not combine with any more. Bring it down. Minus 8, p to the 3rd. The next highest degree is p squared. I see a minus 6p squared. Are there any others? Then just bring it down. My next highest degree is p to the 1st. There are two of those, so they would combine to make 2 minus 3 would be negative 1 or negative p. And last but not least, my constants, negative 1 plus 12 plus 8 should give us 19. If you got that, then you should be ready for the next section of notes. Get to work.